I'd like to welcome everybody to our first West Washington Senator softball game that we're doing on live stream and through our Facebook. You can find us at WW Senator Radio. We have a great game today between the West Washington Senators and the Lady Generals of Clarksville. The Clarksville team has a new coach this year, so they are under some new leadership, but so does the West Washington team, even though he's not really new to the team. Coach Long has been with the team for the past 5 years, and we have a interview with him that we're going to play right now. Welcome to the first West Washington Senator girls softball game this year. I'm here with Coach Long, and I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you.
Tell me what your expectations are for this team as a whole this year, coming into the season. First game before spring break. What are you looking for as a team?
Well, we liked this game before spring break. We had to schedule last year to change things up a little bit because we felt like we're after spring break coming into the season playing 4 games in that first week. It was a little overwhelming. So last year we had Clarksville added prior to our spring break, and it gives us some stuff to work on before we really get into the month of April. What we're really trying to do this year is just take it one game at a time. I know that sounds a cliche, but that's kind of where we're at with that. We do have a senior class that has been to the semi-state. We have a freshman class that's coming in that there's a lot of unknown, but there's a lot of skill and talent there. It's just can we mesh together well? Really, I think we don't really know anything about our opponent, Clarksville.
Well, you're not the only one, because I tried to find out some information. I couldn't find anything on them either. So
yeah, I'd heard, this is hearsay, that they had a new coach. So, and just like I guess you'd say, we have a new coach also, even though I've been here for the last 5 years. We are going, we're a little different than what we were as far as coaching was the last couple of years. And I've added some coaches, Coach Kalen and Coach Gilbert and Coach Stevenson, and they all bring a little bit a different view to the game that really helps us. And Stevenson, a former player, and she has all kinds of experience with what our program is about, so she fits right in well. And it's I think I accidentally became brilliant by getting her on the staff, because she's just one of those players when she played for us that she just did what it took to be part of a team, and she really gave it her all every single game. There wasn't no taking a game off, and then she's putting that in our pitchers, and I'm anxious to see what that's going to be like.
Well, that's a great segue in, because she was an excellent pitcher
Tilly's, all conference player. She was our last year. She was our player of the year on our team. She's a player that brings. She can play any position on the field.
That's what's amazing to me about Tilly. Tilly, honestly could play any position on the field. It makes it look easy. I was here one day at practice and Tilly was playing short, and she made that look, effortless.
Right. Yeah, she's very smooth, and she's also a pitcher. Believe it or not, she pitched through junior high, and it's just with all the pitching and with her ability in other spots, it fell back a little bit on her. I guess you'd say she's our utility player, but any role that we put her in, she's above average in any of those positions, and she brings a lot to the team. Also with the bat. I mean, she brings a lot with the bat.
But there's the segue into the next part. What are you looking for out of your team batting wise? We talked defense, batting. You've got some monster players who can really hit the ball hard and hit the ball far. What are you wanting out of those girls?
Yeah, well, and this is probably something my brother Michael, who was the coach here for the last 5 years, is going to look back at and be like, man, we didn't ever have a team like this, whenever he comes and watches us play, because he has told us he's going to do that, so we expect him here. But that, there's not a spot in the lineup right now of what I'm seeing in practice. And practice is a little different than game, so we do want to separate that. But there's a lot of balls getting hit out of the park, and if you look at the history of the program, that's not something that we've ever really had.
No, definitely not.
Last year was the most home runs I think we've had hit in a season. I think we had 5 total, and I believe Tilly hit 4 of them. So we're usually not that team, but it does give us that ability this year. You'll talk about those big hitters. Taylor Fouch, she's not the biggest person in the world, but
it seems to jump off her back.
Yes, the farthest balls I've seen hit this year have been from her. So I'm excited to see what she does off of some live pitching, but also her speed on the base pass will make it interesting too.
And that's another thing. I mean, you've got speed too. You got the power and the speed. And being a little biased towards West Washington, but that can turn into some real fun games.
Right, it gives you a lot of options. We have Elizabeth Holes who's going to be playing second base, and she's another speedster on the team. And she's really been working on the slap hitting a lot, and we're hoping that we can implement that into our lineup, at some point into where it'll be. We go off of that.
Yeah.
But we're taking steps. She's a freshman. And, her, Cassie Keltner is another player we haven't talked about. She's very similar to Taylor. Both of them are real. If you basketball, real aggressive on the court. Brings it here. There's not too many balls that drop in, and she's going to be playing center field. She don't let very many of them hit the ground. And that's another thing and we had that last year with Adrian Hoare, who's going to be missed because she was that same player, and I feel so lucky to have Cassie come in and take her spot, because that's you're basically doing a swap of about the same caliber players, and you don't always get that.
Well, that's a great ending point there. Your seniors are coming out, but you've replaced them with a great freshman class. You're never replacing. I guess it's kind of called reloading,
right?
Which is good. And you've talked about a lot of your players on your team. Who's the one player who's kind of the hidden person who's in the background, maybe not your big-time hitter, your big-time fielder, but somebody who's really important to that team, just keeping, the morale high and things like that?
Well, I think that's Tori Bolton. Tori Bolton is usually someone who, I don't know if you've been to softball games, I know you got some daughters that play. There's a lot of cheering going on the side, and there's songs and things that go along.
Things that the dads just despise. They're like, oh.
Yeah. And, at first, whenever we started doing this, I was a little taken back by it too. I was kind of like, is this what we do? But as we started going, I realized what the team feeds off of that.
Yep, definitely.
And it also it rattles the other team.
Yep.
So with that being said, she is that girl. I mean, she brings that to us, and she also brings a bat she can hit the ball hard. I look for her to really change a lot this year too. I'd say a big step for her hitting the ball this year. She's improved a lot in the practices, but yeah, she definitely. It'd be hard to call us a team without her.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me, Coach Long, and we wish you the best of luck today against Clarksville.
Thank you very much.
year and what he really expects out of them. We are just a few minutes away from game time, so we're going to run down our keys to victory today. And for the West Washington, first let me bring in Stephanie Keltner, who is here helping me, announce the game and walk through it with me. But some of our keys to victory, number one for the Senators has to be the pitching. Stephanie, what do you think about the Senators and their pitching?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's nice to have the depth we have this year with KC and then Cora and the two freshmen coming in, Taylor and Nicole. I mean, we're pretty much got our bases covered on that aspect.
Yeah, we're definitely deep at pitching. The second key to victory today is limiting the errors, and it's the same once you start in 8U softball all the way up through high school ball. Limiting the errors and limiting those extra outs, and that's what drives those coaches nuts. Those extra outs.
Absolutely, just sometimes the simplest things make a big difference. Stopping the ball, making a good throw. Calling the ball, knowing where you're supposed to go with it. Yes, little mistakes.
That's the big one, knowing where it's supposed to go. And these girls, they've played enough ball that they should know where the ball is supposed to go. And the third one is making sure we're swinging at good pitches. There's going to be a lot of pitches. We've got young pitchers that we're going to see today, girls who don't have a whole lot of experience. So we're going to see balls that are not in the strike zone. We've got to swing at those ones that are in the strike zone, and if they're not, we've got to let them go.
Yes, you got to be aggressive. I mean, as a coach, that's my biggest pet peeve is especially that third strike going by. I mean, you got to be aggressive. If the first pitch is a strike, go after it. Don't let them get the count up on you.
Those are our keys to victory, and we will be back with you in just a few minutes. Once we get the national anthem played, we've got about 45 seconds before I think they're going to start that. They're walking towards home plate, so we will be back with you in just a short bit once that gets done, and we will be here for the game. Okay, we are back to some live softball. The West Washington Lady Senators are getting ready to start their warm-ups before the game starts. Stephanie, can you run down our starting lineup for us?
Sure, we have number 18, Taylor Fouch, will be at short. Up next, second will be Rhina Watson. She's at third base. Third is Tilly Gilbert. She'll be catching. Casey Kalin up the fourth position. And of course, she's pitching. 19 will be Cassidy Keltner at center field. And then
Cora Miller.
Sorry, left field. I just had a blank. Nicole Pittman's our designated hitter. Number 12, Taylor Green at first. 15, Elizabeth Hulls. And then Brianna Hartman, our flex player.
And it's definitely the beginning of the year. You know, we're getting used to it, getting used to the girls' names. But the one, you know, real workhorse that we're going to have today is Casey Kalin on the mound. She's warming up. She's one of our starting pitcher for today, and we're going to see a lot of her, you know, this year with her pitching ability.
Yes, she's, like I said, I was here when Casey, I think she's a senior, and I was a freshman. I helped with assist, and she's come a long way, and she deserves being the starting pitcher, that's for sure.
Definitely. And she's one of those girls who features two main pitches. She's got definitely a fastball like everybody else, but she's got an off-speed pitch, and she also mixes in a rise ball with that. Up first for the Generals, we have number 25. I don't have her first name. I have her down. Allie Weber. She plays shortstop for them. And first pitch from Casey is an inside pitch, missed the strike zone. Big for the Senators is to get off to a good start and throw some strikes.
Absolutely. Don't want to get in the hole and get the count up on them.
And it's one of those games that we can really jump out, you know, put a zero up here and then jump out and let our girls, you know, go up and hit. We've got a fly ball deep to center over Cassidy's head out to the fence.
Yeah, those pop flies like that, first step's back.
She ends up with a double there. That's a fly ball into center field for a double. That was definitely a hard hit ball there.
Absolutely.
Casey's just missing the strike zone by just a little bit. She needs to calm down, relax. You know, it is the start of the year for her too, so you know she hasn't spent a lot of time on the mound. You know, working up to this, but you know, if she calms down, we're going to be just fine.
There you go.
There's a called strike. That helps out. Until he's got a gun behind home plate. I mean, I doubt we see the Generals run very much today.
No.
she's got a rocket back there.
Doubt they would be stealing much on us.
There's a fly ball to Bree Hartman out there. She stops it in front of her, but we're scoring.
Oh, gotta get down. Nope. So number 25, Allie Weber, cross home plate.
So we've got a score of 1-0 in the top of the first, with one runner on, no outs down. Really, as a team, we just need to calm down and relax. They've hit some balls that we've got in the strike zone. You know that it's not anything we're doing wrong. It's just we got to calm down and make some plays.
Oh yeah, get the jitters out.
And like Coach Long said, you know, he really likes to have this game before spring break so that, you know, to get those jitters out. Before they hadn't had this game, and it was something that he really liked. They didn't do a scrimmage, so it was
right.
a game to work out some of those jitters and get that routine down that you're doing.
Oh yeah, make sure where you got people is where you need them.
There's a ball. There we get an out at one. That's good.
Good job. Good stop by Elizabeth Hulls.
It's important to get those outs. You know, that's a ball that we got to get an out on, whether it's the lead runner or the runner at first. She bobbled the ball a little bit, so she decided to go to first, which is a good play. There's that rise ball, and it was just a little too high. Came through just a touch high to get that call. There's a swing and a miss.
Nice. Yeah, nice pitch.
Yeah. Well, we got a foul ball going back. Missed it just a little bit, got under it. That was another one of her rise balls that rises up in the zone. So that's good. They're hitting that up in the air, which is what she wants.
Absolutely.
It looks like we've got a pretty good crowd here today too. I mean, looking around, the outfield's filling up with parents out there. We've got some general fans showing up, and especially for us being on spring break, we've got a lot of fans here. That's good, to come out and support the Lady Senators.
Absolutely. It's a great day.
Nice and sunshiny too. That you can't beat that for some softball.
Nope.
There's a nice punch out by Casey Kalin, her first of the year. Got the other pitcher actually on a strikeout, which is good.
She'll probably remember that.
Yeah. That'll be one that she won't forget.
Good pitch.
That's a good pitch. That's just over the inside corner of the plate. That's one that you've got to open up your hips to be able to hit. You can't make that same stride that you normally do. Keep those hands in and drive through it.
Nice.
She's finding her groove. That's one thing that Casey is definitely a streak pitcher. Once she gets going, she can throw 8 or 10 of them in a row, and really make that other team, pay for not hitting. There's
Nice.
3.
3 down.
We are going to step away for a break while the teams switch out and get ready to come back out with the Lady Senators batting.
Have you noticed? Sports today are different. Today's athletes are bigger and stronger. They run faster, jump higher, and hit harder than ever before. But there is one thing that hasn't changed about sports, and that's the importance of practicing sportsmanship. At the Indiana High School Athletic Association, we like to remind you that winning isn't everything. The way you play matters, and a true champion plays the game with respect. For the opponent, for the coaches, and for the officials. True champions practice sportsmanship with the same degree of intensity that they play the games themselves. Sports may evolve, athletes may change, but the mark of a true champion will always be the same. Play like a champion. Practice sportsmanship. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
And we're back live with the Lady Senators. Coming up first is Taylor Fouch. And like Coach Long said, the ball just seems to be jumping off her bat this year. I saw her one day at practice, and she took what looked like just a nice, easy swing, and the ball just jumped off and went flying.
Taylor's always had a good swing. I've seen her play a lot of years, and she's a good player, but she really has just really grown this last year and gotten better, and it's great fun to see.
Well, and it's nothing to take away from Taylor, but she's one of those 3-sport players, just like your daughter Cassie, plays 3 sports and plays all of them really well, and spends every day, it seems like after school she's at practice of some sort, doing softball or volleyball or basketball, and it's just that winning mentality that's been put in her mind here through those sports, and it's no different with softball. She's a winner. She's a gamer. That's what Coach Long and I talked about. She's a winner at everything she does.
Yep, she works hard. It's paying off for her.
I'm interested to see this pitcher. I haven't really seen her warm up a whole lot. She's thrown a couple of pitches, and they weren't really close to the strike zone. So now I'm interested to see how patient Taylor can be here.
Yeah, a little high.
There's a first pitch that just misses inside. And Taylor's one who's usually pretty patient at the plate. I mean, if it's not where she wants it, she's not going to swing at it. So
I guess helping me get a picture, she can maybe read it a little better.
And it doesn't look like she's throwing overly hard. It doesn't look like she's an overpowering pitcher. It kind of looks like she's a placement pitcher. So that helps us a little bit too.
She puts it in the right spot, we'll get a hold of it.
Yeah. And I know Taylor's dad, Punky's out there, watching right now because he texted me earlier today asking if we were going to be, streaming this live. So I know you jumped on that thread, also, saying yes that we were. So I'm sure he's out there, watching and making sure that he's got a video of Taylor in her first varsity at bat for the Lady Senators with her being a freshman and all. So
yeah, this is a great tool. I mean, we got to watch it when the girls were playing basketball and we weren't able to be there. So it's wonderful to be able to do this for family that's not here. And
well, she swings and just misses that one. That was one of those rise balls also that came up in the zone. Taylor didn't quite get her hands through fast enough to be able to catch the center of that ball. She caught the bottom edge of it, which popped it up back over us. That ball's a little high. Way to lay off of it. We got a full count on our first at bat here.
Yep.
Which is just what we want to see. We want to see, those players lay off those pitches that are high and go after the ones that we can hit.
See if she can lay off, though. I know she wants to get a hold of it.
Yeah, she's one who wants to get a hold of one and really crank one. There's one. Little foul. Just a little ahead of it.
At least she's getting her bat on it.
Yeah. Back to our full count again. Score in the bottom of the first is nothing for the Senators. Of course, we're just now batting, but one for the Generals. They got one through in that first inning on a couple of hits. We got another foul ball. Taylor's really battling here. This is the 8th pitch of this at bat that she's had. So she's seen this. She's done her job. She's allowing the rest of the team to really see this pitcher and see what she's got to throw, which is the leadoff spot's job. She's doing what she's supposed to.
Yep.
Here's a grounder to third. We got to stop.
Come on, keep moving. Oh, overthrow.
She's through the base, overthrow at first. Rounds it off, goes to second. Looking at third. Didn't pick up Coach Long. I'm sure he's going to have a talk about that.
Yep. Got to look.
So,
good job, though.
And a late slide. So we've got probably going to give an error on the first baseman there for the throw, for not catching the throw.
Now at to bat, Ryan Watson,
and
third baseman.
And she has the power to send it out of here.
Absolutely.
I watched her at practice, and she can, when she gets a hold of it, it flies.
Yep.
So we've got our leadoff on third, and Rye coming up. She's looking to send one to the outfield to bring that run in, get an RBI here. All laying down a bunt, catching them off guard.
Awesome.
No play at first. Nice.
All right.
Nice. Give that
nice
as a
bunt.
she's going to second.
Yep.
Going to second, not paying attention.
All right,
so now we're at
going.
a bunt
Good
double.
job.
We don't see that one very often.
No, we don't.
Especially from a big power hitter.
Yes.
So
you're not expecting that.
now we've got Tilly Gilbert up, and she's another one who can hit for power or hit for average too. So she can get a hold of it and put them out there. We've got runners on first and second, 2 ducks on the pond out there ready to be brought in. We got a high pitch. The Lady Generals pitcher just hasn't really calmed down into the flow of the game yet. She seems to just be off just a little bit, like Casey was to start off, and Casey kind of calmed down, and she just hasn't quite got there yet, hasn't quite calmed down.
Yeah. Having 2 runners on and no outs probably gets her a little flustered.
Well, and the fact that Rye then took second, I mean, that was
off a bunt.
that was on her fielders. That wasn't on her at all. So it's one of those. It should be first and third, but it's second and third now, and there's a hit to the outfield. Ground rule double over the fence.
Yep.
Ground rule double brings in 2. So
Awesome.
so Taylor Fouch and Rye Watson both score, and Tilly ends up with a ground rule double. She picks up 2 RBIs on that. What a hit! I mean, that ball was smoked.
Great placement.
The center fielder took 2 or 3 steps over, and there was no way she was getting to that. So, it's one of those that just in the right spot.
Nice hit.
And now we bring up Casey Kalen, who's another one who has tons of speed. So it doesn't take a whole lot for her to get a double and triple. She hits the ball on the ground, and then it gets through a hole. She can be standing on third real easy. And I'm sure she wants to get some of those runs back that she gave up 1 in the first, and she wants to be part of that team, part of that group that is scoring runs.
Right.
Squares for the bunt. Takes the pitch.
Tilly going to third. Safe.
Safe on the slide at third. That's a good play there. Good cover up by Casey Kalen at home to make it hard for that catcher to see the ball. She does pick up a pitch there, but Tilly then advances to third. It's another high pitch. The Generals pitcher is just letting go of the ball just a little bit too late, which is bringing those balls up in the zone. She's just a hair off. I mean, she's all over the zone, just a little bit off everywhere she goes.
Yep.
Oh, overthrow? Nope. Tilly doesn't come home. It bounces too far back off the fence. I think the Senators are really going to test this catcher.
Yes, I think they will.
She's going to have her hands full with those runners on the bases, and Coach Long told me, he's got speed, so they're gonna run on people. They're gonna run the bases and run the bases strong. So
absolutely push them, make them get you out.
She squares again and takes ball 2 out there. So she's got ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike here. And don't be surprised if she gets ball 4. She's going to keep on going. She's going to go to first and on around to second.
Absolutely. Still working on my junior high to learn that.
There's a bunt down the line. No play, too much speed.
Overthrow.
Turn and go. We've got Tilly scoring at home. Casey rounding second.
On 2.
So we've got
another double on bunt.
Yeah.
This is our first game. I guess I'm a little rusty. Got number 19, Cassie Keltner.
So Cassidy Keltner stepping up to the plate. We've got Casey Kalen standing out on second. And they're going to sub for, not Cassidy Keltner. Casey Kalen out on second. So they're going to sub a runner for her since she's a pitcher. You're allowed to do that in the game. And in comes number 8, which is that may be Bailey Pittman. No, I don't know. Oh,
Elizabeth Walls. Lizzie Walls.
Okay, Elizabeth Halls. Sorry, I was looking Elizabeth Walls. I was looking for the Halls. So that was we've got to work out the names too. So she comes in because she's on the bench. She takes off now, going to third. She's now standing on third. So Elizabeth Walls now standing on third. Cassidy Keltner up to bat. And we've got Stephanie Keltner sitting here. I'm sure she's critiquing every swing. Probably doesn't get to see this view of the swing of her daughter very often, but
pretty good. Pretty nice view.
It's a nice view. You can really see, if they get their hands through like they're supposed to and step where they're supposed to. She turns to bunt, overthrow. Nobody scoring there, so.
So Craig asked me to do this. That's the first thing I thought of. Was like, then I can't yell.
Well, as you've learned, there you can yell, quite a bit for your kid and for everybody else's kid. It's just more people hear you now. And you can go back and tell your kid, look, right here, this is what you were doing. There's a nice bunt, drop down again.
Actually. Get there, Cass.
Through the base, turns the correct way, which is good, and drives in a run. Elizabeth Walls scores.
And that was Elizabeth Walls as the runner there.
Cora Miller coming up to bat now. Cassidy Keltner on first. I wouldn't be surprised for Coach Long to throw in the steal here. Just a straight steal or a delayed steal. with a hit and run or something going on. With Cora, up to bat and quite a bit of speed out of Keltner. I mean, she's got long legs, so she covers a lot of ground really quickly.
She likes to steal.
Halfway, nice pop up.
Good.
Oh, get down. She's down, going home. Halfway.
Oh, got into the dugout.
There we go.
All right.
Turns and goes back to third. Cora with a pop up and a nice placement there.
Oh, they give her the run?
Yes. Oh.
I guess so.
I don't know what the call was at third. They've got 5 on the board.
That would be the run.
So that would be the run that scores there because the ball got in the dugout.
I guess, yeah,
so
okay.
she gets that base and the extra base, which brings her into score. So there's
go.
our 5. With Cora Miller now standing out on second base and Bailey Pittman up to bat. Nicole Pittman. I'm going to get those 2 wrong.
Oh, believe me, I understand.
The whole year. I had Bailey in class. I never had Nicole, so I'm going to call her Bailey all year.
And I went from having Nicole last year to Bailey this year, so yes, they get after me all the time.
And I'm one who does a lot with their faces, and I don't get to see their faces because they're looking the opposite way. So once they're standing on second, then I'm good. But
yeah,
Aitchison, the pitcher for the Generals, just isn't quite getting the ball down where it needs to be for the girls to hit it. They're in the area, but it's just off just a touch, and we're doing a good job of laying off of it.
I was about to say the same thing. We're doing good about not swinging it, not what we shouldn't be swinging at.
And that was one of our keys to the game, keys to victory. Was swinging at pitches in the zone, and if they're not in the zone, don't swing at them, lay off. And even our young lineup that we've got out there right now, our 3 freshmen who are in the lineup, actually 4, because Nicole is a freshman also.
Yes.
So that would be 4 in the lineup, and they're laying off those pitches. So that's good. We've now got Cora Miller standing on third base, waiting to score.
Ooh.
Oh, takes one off her
Base
leg.
on balls, yep.
So she's going to get to go to first base, hit by a pitch. And now we come up with Taylor Green, who has a runner on third, which is Cora Miller. And we've got Nicole Pittman on first. And we're going to get our first visit to the mound. Giving up 5 in the first inning definitely will probably get you a visit in most
yes.
most games, which takes Taylor over and gives her a chance to talk to Coach Long a little bit, which is good. She probably wants some advice here. We have no outs, 5 runs on the board in your first game of the year, so looking at really putting up some runs. And I don't think he's going to bring in a new pitcher. I think he's just coming out to calm down his young team. I know he's got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team, so he's bringing in his girls just to talk to them a little bit.
Oh yeah, like I said, she's not off that much. She's had a few overthrows, but it's just just calming down and getting her strikes in there.
Yeah. And Taylor Green now is coming up to bat, and she's got an extra large strike zone because, like Coach Long said, she's really tall for a softball player. So
she is.
Great for first baseman, but
yes.
that strike zone is enormous. So she's got to really protect that, strike zone. We've got a steal there. Halfway home, turns around and goes back. Probably a good play there. Cora probably could have pressured that one a little more coming home.
Yeah.
Pressure this catcher a little bit, but when you're up 5,
yeah, that's true.
And you've got a pitcher who's kind of struggling, and you got a runner who's advancing to second, you may wait for the next pitch. We may get a bobbled ball, from the catcher and be able to, score on that. Turns and squares. Nice stop by the catcher.
It's hard as a coach, though, to not just push it.
Yeah.
Get there.
Yeah. And it doesn't change at any level, whether it's junior high, high school, or t-ball, or little
Another bunt
little
by
softball.
Taylor.
A
Awesome.
bobble, no score. Third baseman not quite sure what to do with it. So now we've got bases loaded coming up.
Up to bat now, second baseman, Elizabeth Halls.
And now we've got Elizabeth Halls up, which is different than Elizabeth Walls.
Right.
So
And I've called Elizabeth Holes E her entire life. So
well, we'll stick with that. Ease up to bat.
there you go.
And she walks out like she's gonna slap, which is good. We could use a nice slap hit here because we're probably gonna score our run from third on a nice slap.
Yep.
And I know that's something that she's been working on quite a bit. And right here, first game, first at bat of the year, just a little late on it. Got to get those hands, get the head of the bat through a
Yep.
little more as you're taking that step.
A little bit behind.
And that's something that is definitely a process to learn. That slap hit, for those girls who haven't done it, and you come up and you're not used to it, and then they ask you to do it all of a sudden. It's one of those that you've got to work on. It's not a natural thing, because it's actually moving your feet in the batter's box 3 times where most people only move them once.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a footwork thing. And E actually even shortens up her bat.
She does. Yes.
She chokes up above the grip on her bat so she can get the head of the bat through, which is a trick for some of you who are trying to figure out how to learn how to slap. Choke up on that bat and get the head through so that then you can slap it. And she's looking at balls that are out of the zone, and she's not swinging at them, because that's one thing when you're a left-handed slapper. There's going to be a lot of pitches that are out of the zone on that right side of the plate. Sorry, on the left side of the plate that you're not going to be able to hit, and she's laying off of them. That's good. There's one that rolls foul.
She's definitely got the speed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She can turn a slap hit into a triple real easy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially being that left-handed slapper that she is. That's going to make it nice. For her, you see a lot of left-handed slappers because of that left-handed. They're closer to the first base, and when you've got speed, it's just an added advantage. Oh. Drop third strike, but it doesn't matter because the bases are loaded.
That's right. But you know what? When you're a coach, you want to tell them to go.
Yes.
So they
and she did the
hopefully,
right
or
thing.
maybe
She
we'll
was
mess up.
she was already halfway out of the box, so she was going down first base. It was the right thing to do.
Yep.
But we heard the Clarksville team yelling step on home, but it doesn't matter because she's already halfway there.
That's right. And back
We've
to the
got
top.
Hartman, who is in the lineup, but because she's the flex player, she does not bat. She just fields.
Right.
So we're back to the top of the lineup with Taylor Fouch. And I'm sure one of our 6 viewers out there is Punky. So he's back watching her right now, one of our 6 that are on at the moment. We've had quite a few on throughout, but one of the 6 that are watching us right now, I'm sure, is Punky. Whether he's watching on our live stream or on our Facebook pages, either one, I'm sure he's watching. So Taylor comes up to bat, and the bases are loaded. So now would be a great time to see that pop off of her DeMarini bat that she swings.
Yes.
There's a little plug for some of those bat people out there.
I was gonna say, yeah, they get plenty money from us.
Yeah, that's me too. I've got a daughter who's got a DeMarini sitting behind us down on the steps, and then she's got a Louisville Slugger that she swings too. So we're not one brand specific, but
Nope.
we swing everything. So
Yep.
there's a nice hit
Nice
right
hit
up the center.
Middle. Good hit.
Gonna score at
Taylor.
least one.
She's safe. Yeah, you don't have
Oh.
to tag her. It's not a. Whoa.
It
Yes.
It was a force
It
at
is a
2,
force.
and we've got a nice view of that. Now the Clarksville coach is going to come out and ask for some help on that.
Clarksville Generals 1.
So he's going to come out. I think the second base umpire, the field umpire, kind of lost his play and didn't realize what was going on. So I believe that is the right call,
Yes.
that she is out at second. It was a play that was in the field, and I think he just lost track of where players were. He thought it was the player coming. He thought it was Taylor coming from first on a round to second,
Right.
and it wasn't. It was the player from first going to second. So that was the right call. The throw did beat her there, so she is out, which is the second out of the inning. The West Washington Lady Senators are up 6-1 over the Clarksville Generals, and Rye Watson is up now. Yes, Taylor Green was the girl who was out at second.
Yes.
Not her fault, just kind of a play that was there. Taylor Fouch now goes from first to second on the overthrow. This pitcher just doesn't seem to quite have it today, and that's the way lady softball is. I mean, some days you just don't have it. You can throw, great one day, and the next day you're just a little off, and that's kind of what has happened today. She's just a little bit off.
And that's what having 4 pitchers that you could go to is nice about.
Exactly. That's the nice thing, and I would bet that we will see probably 2 or 3 of our pitchers, today at least, because I bet Casey gets a couple of innings, and then it wouldn't surprise me to see Cora Miller come in and get a couple of innings of work, and then depending on how many innings this goes, we may see even Taylor Fouch come in and get a couple of innings or an inning, so that she gets some varsity action. Because like Coach Long said, he said no matter how much travel ball you've played and how many different tournaments you've played in, there's nothing like varsity softball. So you want to be out there and you want to see some live pitches and throw some live pitches if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, I know Cassie said she was nervous. It was a good nervous, but it was nervous. So.
Well, the 6 runs in the first kind of takes some of those nerves off of you.
Yeah.
You come down just a little bit.
And just going through the motions, saying that you've done it once at least helps a lot. Whoa.
Up to bat now, catcher Tilly Gilbert.
Tilly Gilbert up for the second time in the first inning. Rye takes a base on balls. So bases are back loaded again. Tilly Gilbert up. And she's one who just hits the ball everywhere. You can't play her to hit to the left. You can't play her to hit to the right because she'll hit everywhere. The pitcher just is a bit off. She throws the ball behind Tilly on this one. Tilly kind of leans forward to get out of the way because she doesn't want to get hit. She wants to get her at bat.
Yep.
She's one who will stand in there and take one if she has to, but really doesn't want to take one. She wants to be able to swing the bat and get a hit.
Yeah, most girls do. They don't want to just get that one base. They want to hit and work for it.
There's a strike, and I'm sure Tilly had the take sign on there. She was taken because that's what Coach told her to do, take until you get a strike. So now she's got a strike, and I would bet that she's going to see a pitch here that she can drive somewhere. So there's a half swing.
Jammed her. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Fouch overran the base, but she was out anyway. So there's three outs. Tilly got jammed there on the ball inside, didn't get her hands extended. So we're going to take a break, and we will be back for the top of the second.
West Washington Senators 6.
We hear it more and more when people talk about sports. We need to change the culture. No more integrity taking a backseat to performance. No more players, coaches, and fans run amok. No more too big to fail. It sounds good. It sounds reasonable. Come to think of it, it sounds like high school sports. At the Indiana High School Athletic Association, we know that sports are just part of a student athlete's overall education and that there's more to the game than winning. We also know that high school sports are incredibly exciting. They're rich with tradition and bring communities together like nothing else. In a word, they're pure. More and more, that's what people want. High school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport. This message brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, the IHSAA, and the high schools in this community.
And we're back live here at the West Washington Lady Senator softball complex. The Lady Senators are up 6-1 over the Clarksville Generals in the top of the second inning. We've got Casey Kalin on the mound, and she has, kind of sat for a little while. So going to be interesting to see her stuff as she comes back out for her second inning. That was a long first inning, and I know pitchers don't really like to sit for a long time in between innings. They like to get runs, but don't want to sit for quite a bit. And she had probably close to 30 minutes there where she was sitting waiting to get back on the mound. So, it's one of those. She's got to get back to her stuff, which was pretty good in the first inning, and we'd like to see some good stuff here. It'd be nice to go 3 up and 3 down and go back out into the field.
It's number 12, Rose Monfort.
And next up for the Generals will be Rose Monfort, number 12, sorry. Left fielder.
First pitch is just a little high. Looked pretty good. It was definitely hard. She threw that ball hard. She put some extra oomph on that one.
There you go. Nice one.
There's a nice stop by Rye. Throw out at first to Taylor Green. There's 1 down. That's what Coach Long was talking about earlier. He said, Rye isn't afraid to play close, and she will stop that small ball that teams want to play. Where she plays, she plays in, and it's kind of deceiving from our angle, but you can catch her out of the corner of the infield camera and see that she is right there. I mean, she's playing even with the pitcher.
Yeah. She's not afraid, that's for sure. We've got her with the outside.
There's a nice pitch. She's mixing it up. She's going inside, she's going outside, she's going up, she's going down, which is good. The girls can't really sit on one pitch.
Brought it back inside.
Tilly tries to frame that one in. She tries to bring it in by bringing that hand in, but our umpire doesn't give her that call. Probably not going to get that call up 6-1.
Probably not.
But there's one you are going to get.
Absolutely.
The girl swung through that one. Talking about pitching, we may even get a Tilly surprise pitcher today. Her mom might go crazy standing next to us if that happens. But
nice strikeout.
That's 3 Ks on the day, correct?
Yes.
For her. She's thrown some really good pitches and really seems to have settled into her spot now of throwing strikes and throwing pitches that are hard for these girls to hit. Ooh, that was just a touch inside.
That happens.
And just like we were talking about the Clarksville pitcher, she was missing by just a little bit. That one, Kaylin threw and missed by just a little bit, and it was too far inside, and it actually hit the girl. So she moves on to first. We've got a runner on first with 2 down.
Up next will be Kaylee Champion.
And I believe this is their third baseman, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, fouls it off.
Seems to be just a little bit behind, which is understandable with as hard as Kaylin is throwing. I mean, she's throwing hard, and this the champion girl is a smaller girl. She's more like our E Halls, who's small. So they didn't give grades, but I'm guessing probably a freshman or a sophomore. She hasn't developed like some of the older girls. So it's one of those. She didn't quite get the bat through on the first one or the second one. So we've got 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on first. There's a ball hit to Taylor. Nice stop. There's our 3 outs, and we will take a break as we switch for the half inning. The West Washington Lady Senators are up 6-1 in the half inning.
If an individual student athlete or team wins a high school state championship, it's an amazing thing.
And it goes in!
It's also just the icing on the cake. That's because young people in Indiana who participate in education-based athletics are already winners. Studies show that win or lose, participation helps to impart skills they can use to enjoy greater success in other areas of their lives. School sports teach the benefits of teamwork, the value of self-motivation, and the importance of accountability. They also help to foster stronger work habits and higher levels of self-esteem. In other words, the true value of school sports can't be measured in terms of wins or losses. If an individual or team goes to state, it's an incredible accomplishment. But regardless of the outcome, today's student athletes are already destined to go far. School sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back live to the West Washington Senator softball complex. The Lady Senators are up 6-1 going into the bottom of the second.
And next up is Casey.
And we've got Casey Kalin, and then I believe Cassidy Keltner follows her, correct?
Yes.
So we've got a couple of big hitters who we can score some more runs with here. We've got our starting pitcher who's coming up to the plate now, Casey Kalin, who the first time up had a nice line drive hit. Inside pitch.
Yeah, she's struggling today.
And Casey's not one who's gonna give in and let her have one. I mean, she's gonna make sure it's over the plate. She'll be glad to take a walk and then steal a couple of bases. That'll be fine, just fine with her.
Yes.
And I think both pitchers have an interesting drag on their foot. They both kind of dig across the mound, and I'm not sure that Casey's drag is a whole lot different from the Generals pitcher, but I think it's thrown her off just a little bit that it's there.
Yes. I was noticing that earlier, that side.
Because if you look, she's dragging just behind where Casey was, and I'm not so sure that she doesn't want to drag in the same spot, but it's like riding your bike through a mud ditch that's already there. You don't want to do that because you'll fall over. So yeah. She's trying to get behind it or in front of it, and it's just throwing her off just a little bit. Got a 3-1 count on Casey, so it wouldn't surprise me for her to have a green light here from Coach Long, saying, "Hey, go ahead and hit away. If it's a pitch you like, take it and drive it."
Walk.
So we've got a walk to Casey Kalin, and up comes Cassidy Keltner, who I'm sure her mom has some critiquing of her swing.
Every player goes through slumps, and Cassie did a couple years ago, but she's worked hard and listened, and that's all you need to do is listen and work at it.
Walls comes in and replaces Casey Kalin at first because she's on our bench, so she can come in and run again because our pitcher is on the base path. Cassidy's in the box digging in, and she's going to definitely find a pitch here that she likes to swing at. I'm sure her mom has talked to her many times about being selective over those pitches, like every coach that ever coaches any player, hey, pick one that you can hit, pick one that you like. And it doesn't change all the way up here. I know that's the same thing I tell my 8U daughter. I say, hey, pick one that you like. If you don't like it, don't swing at it.
Yeah. Sometimes she gets a little bored, though, and wants to hit.
Well, and that's no different all the way up and all the way down. That's the same thing Maddie tells me. She says, I'm bored. I want to swing at him. I want to hit. I don't want to stand here.
It's difficult to not, that's for sure.
Ooh. There's one that Cassidy probably should have taken advantage of and swung at.
A lot of them bunted the first time through, so
yeah.
We'll get to swing at some here.
I would be willing to bet that we don't see many bunts from here on. I bet that we're not going to play that. Cassidy does a very nice job of holding the bat back, but also getting out of the way because you don't want to let the ball hit the bat on that pitch because that makes it a foul ball if it goes foul, or it could be a fair ball if it rolls fair. Yeah. Any part of the bat that hits the ball, even the knob of the bat, can make it a fair ball. We got 4, so going to first. And the catcher isn't helping the pitcher out very much because she's throwing the ball back to her, and it's not exactly accurate. So Cora Miller is coming up to bat. And it looks like we're going to have a couple of subs come in the game. Maybe not subs in the game, but kind of rotating some people around. It looks like the first baseman might come to pitcher.
Shayla Brunis.
We couldn't quite tell if it was Brunis or Bruner, but it looks like she's going to come to pitcher, and it looks like the pitcher is probably going to go to first base. So warming her up. See kind of what she has for stuff here. First couple of pitches not looking real great. She bounced the first one and kind of rolls the second one in there. So hopefully she can get it under control and get it figured out.
That's much better.
Yeah, much better. That one was right over the plate. So. And nothing against the girl who was the pitcher. I think she has some pretty good stuff. I think today just wasn't her day, and she didn't have her best stuff today, which is the kind of the key of girls softball. It can one day you can have your best stuff, and the next day you can not, and that's what it takes. It takes multiple pitchers, which is nice because the Lady Senators have multiple pitchers, and I think the Generals have multiple pitchers. It looks like they're bringing in another girl to throw some balls. So I think she's got some good stuff. That the Generals just look like a young team all around. I mean, they don't look like they're a very mature softball team, and that's not taking anything away from the Lady Generals. It just looks like they're a freshman and sophomore based team.
Oh sure, young club, but like pitchers, that's one thing. Like I said, when they have their days, they're good and they're bad. But I mean, that's one thing I can't do. You can't fuss. I mean, you can't get out there for them, and they're just gonna have days, and you hope it gets better. But at least you have some more in your lineup to bring them around.
There's a bunt that was put down the third base line in the air. She really needs to drop that bunt down if she's going to do that, which means she's got to bring the head of the bat down and make it level so you can get the top part of that ball and put it in the ground. You don't want to pop that bunt up.
No. Teach them to get that bat out in front of them. It's hard to do.
It definitely is. That's something that we work on with our 8Us all the time. Getting the bat out in front, hitting the ball out in front of you. Don't let it get behind you.
No.
It's really hard to hit a ball fair that's behind you.
Yep.
There's another pitch that's inside. So.
Should be 1 and 2. Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes here for Cora Miller, with runners on first and second. There's a ball inside. We're going to get the runners advancing. We're trying to advance. Both advance on the play. Two runners out there on bases that you can definitely score them on. So if Miller gets a hold of one, she can definitely advance them.
Full count now.
Full count, 3 and 2. Oh, swung through it.
Out.
May have got a piece of it because it looked like she was going down to first. Thought maybe it would drop, but didn't quite drop out of the catcher's glove. So that's a nice catch there by the catcher. Nicole Pittman is up to bat now. I got it right this time. Nicole Pittman, 1 down with runners on first and second. Bunt.
Good.
Third baseman doesn't field it. The pitcher does field it.
Overthrow.
With an overthrow at first. Nobody's covering home. So
Good.
Cassidy Keltner, with her long legs, which she gets from both her mom and her dad, is able to cover all that ground and score all the way from second on an overthrow, that goes by the catcher. And she's one who you're not going to hold up at third because she's got such momentum and such long legs. She's going to get there very quickly.
Sometimes even when you tell her to stop, she doesn't.
She runs right through it.
But she's usually smart about it. She likes to play with them, but.
Well, and she's got the athletic ability to be able to stop and turn. There's one that's popped up in the air, and caught.
That'd be our third out.
That's our third out, so we're going to take a break. We will step away and be back for the top of the third.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes. Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back in the bottom, in the top of the third. Casey Kalin's still on the mound with the top of the Generals lineup up. We see a first pitch strike there, which is great because she jumps out in front of the batters with strikes. Throws a ball that's popped up into the air. Cassidy Keltner running after it. She calls it, catches it. Good job, Cassidy Keltner out there in center field. I'm sure that's making her mom, who's standing right next to me, very proud that she's able to go after that ball and catch it. I'm sure there's been a lot of fly ball work in the backyard of the Keltner house.
Pretty sure that's all my life consists of.
You see another strike thrown. She's really found it. After the first inning, she had quite a bit of trouble, but now she's got it figured out. So.
Yeah. Ooh.
Wanted to swing at that one,
Yes,
but
she did.
okay. And this general batter is standing in the front of the box, which is something that I really probably wouldn't suggest against Casey, who's really throwing hard. I would move her back a little bit in the box to let her see that ball just a little bit longer.
Yep.
But she's still standing in the front right on the line. So, I mean, to each their own, I guess, but I would move her back a little bit. The score is 8-1 in the top of the third inning, so the Senators have really jumped on them. The Generals hit a dribbler kind of down the first base line, and Taylor Green makes a nice stop and steps on first for the first out. The second out. We had a strikeout, and then the out that was just made by Taylor Green at first base. Casey's delivery is just a little bit inside. She shakes her head at that pitch, thinking that she should have got that call, but that's again one of those that you're not going to get when you're up, 7 runs. You're just not going to get that, no matter how much Tilly tries to frame it for you. You're not going to get that call.
Just a little outside again.
Yeah. And I think that one kind of got in Casey's head a little bit because the call got in a little slow to Tilly to get to her what pitch to throw. So she got kind of out of rhythm there, which there's one that's inside. She was the general batter was going to stand in there and take that one. If that would have hit her, it kind of looked like she wasn't even going to budge. So she was looking to get on base any way she could, which is exactly the right thing to do. If she can get on, get on. There's one that Casey gets right over the middle of the plate. I'm sure the Generals had the take on 100%. We'll see if she gets the green light here, being down 7 runs. See if she gets the green light to hit. she ends up walking her. So that's another base runner on the base pass for the General. Tilly's going to go out and calm Casey down just a little bit. Probably nothing serious, going out saying, hey, have some fun. We're up here, have some fun. Probably the last inning that we're going to see Casey. We're going to probably see some more pitching from some other girls, here. So, come in, have some fun. Probably the last out you're going to get here. And it does happen to be against the General's pitcher who was in the game. So, we're gonna end, hopefully Casey can get an out here and end on a good note. First pitch strike, she swung through that one. There's a pop-up.
Nice pop-up. Oh, Taylor. Good, Taylor.
Taylor snags it with a good play out there. Nothing that makes a pitcher more happy, Casey Kalin, than the defense really backing her up. So she makes that snag, which is good. We're in the middle of the third. We'll be back in just a second.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we are back. Casey Grant is warming up for the Generals. She's the same pitcher who was...
Shaylin Bruner.
Sorry, Shaylin Bruner, who's in pitching now. She's the same pitcher who finished out the last inning for the Generals. And up for us, we've got Elizabeth Halls, who's coming up. She's our second baseman, freshman, learning slapper. She's working on it. It's a work in progress. But she's definitely taking the steps to do that. And I don't know that Coach Long is absolutely going to have her slap here. He may let her swing away.
I was say, last year she slapped some for me, but she's a good hitter too.
Well, the first pitch she looked like she was slapping there. So. She's got a very nice movement to be slapping it, for learning it. It's like I said the first time she came up, it's taking 3 steps in that box and then being able to get out of it, getting yourself a running start, going down the first base line, which is, definitely helpful if you're a left-handed hitter.
Keeping him outside of her though.
Yeah, and that's the number one way to attack that slap hitting is to pitch outside. And if you consistently can throw it outside over the outside part of the plate, you'll get those calls, and it's really hard to slap those balls. And another thing that you're not going to see too often by the umpires, are catching girls outside of that box. And if you really watch, you've really got to be careful with where she starts because she's taken 3 steps in the box. So where she's actually swinging, watch that front foot and make sure she's in the box. You can't be outside of the box swinging. And I know in college softball, that's one of those that it looks like those girls are halfway down the line and still swinging. They'll be standing on top of the pitcher, swinging the bat. So she picks up a walk. So E is now standing on first. Taylor Fouch up to bat. For the 3rd time today, she's been on both times, I believe, and then got thrown out at 3rd on a fielder's choice, to her. So, coming up for her 3rd time, hasn't been thrown out yet, other than her fielder's choice, which really isn't an out on her. But it is the first time she's seen this pitcher, and on that one she was told to hit and run, so she swung
Yes.
just like she was supposed to, which advances E to second. Coach Long really gets on her because that pitch was above her head. There was no way she should have swung at that. So it's.
I know they've changed up their calls this year, and it's been a learning experience for some of the girls.
Oh, I'm sure. E now is standing on third base. We're really kind of putting it to this young catcher, behind the plate. But Taylor knows not to swing at that pitch, but her coach told her, hey, we're hitting and running, and she knows protect that runner. So I'm going to swing, whether it's over my head, behind me, I'm going to swing.
Yeah.
So she's worked the count back into her favor. It's 2 balls and 1 strike here.
It's not much breeze here today, which it normally is. Be nice if you could get a hold of it. Oh, show bunt. Foul ball.
So now she's got two strikes on her. So 2 strikes, 2 balls, runner on third. And the sun is kind of peeked out now from behind the clouds. So now she's dealing with the sun a little bit too. So kind of a few things going through.
Nice hit.
Nice hit right over the third baseman's head. Make that left fielder make a throw. Comes in. So Taylor gets a single there and drives in E to score a run. Now Rise up to hit. And she can, if she puts it in the right place, she can definitely score Taylor from first. I mean,
Absolutely.
Taylor's got some speed too, so it's one of those that's nice. She can really wheel around those bases.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Punky Fouch yell when she swung at that first one.
Well, I'm sure he may be even sitting in his truck somewhere watching a game, on his phone or on a laptop or something, and I'm sure he probably did, and he's probably got somebody in the passenger seat probably yelling, what in the world is he even talking about? But it's nice that the parents who are out of town can pick up and see their kids, if they're out of town, or even grandparents or aunts and uncles or whoever, out of town, being able to watch a game if you can't make it here in person. But there's nothing like coming out to West Washington and picking up, a softball game or a baseball game or really any sporting event. I mean, and I know I'm biased because it's where I work and where I do a lot of games, but this is one of the nicest places to come, and you've got a great atmosphere for the softball, great atmosphere for the football, the basketball. You just can't beat any of them. So
We have
come
great
out,
fans.
come out and watch a game. But if you can't, then pick us up on the live stream or on the Facebook feed. Oh, Rye swings at one, swings through it, and puts it right off the catcher's mask. And the umpire asks her, "Are you okay?" And she kind of nods her head, just a little bit. So she's got 2 strikes on her and 1 ball. Rye has one of those neat swings. She kind of takes a step back, taps her toe, and then really drives at the ball. It's a rhythm swing. So I'll be interested to see when we see a pitcher who has an awkward delivery, if she can continue to do that one.
Got her on the inside pitch.
Got her on the inside pitch. So Rye strikes out. Taylor is on second, and we've got Tilly Gilbert coming up. And I've noticed Tilly has moved just a hair back in the box for this pitcher, probably because she throws just a little bit harder than the starting pitcher that we saw.
Does, yes.
But definitely nothing that Tilly can't handle. She's one of our best hitters. She taps her helmet, showing Coach Long that she understands what in the world she's supposed to be doing. So that's the sign of yes, I know what. Yes, I know what you just told me to do, and I will do it. So that's one of those it's always nice to pick up as a coach standing on third. Yes, they saw that sign, they picked it up.
Yep.
There's a pop-up on the infield, caught at shortstop. So Tilly didn't get all of that one. That one she got extended and didn't get to step how she should. So up next is Casey Kalin, our starting pitcher, who we've seen for the past 3 innings. The West Washington Senators are up 9-1 in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. Taylor Fouch standing on second, and Casey Kalin standing in the box.
Taylor's still in third.
Taylor with just a straight steal. Yep. And there's very few catchers. I mean, I don't even know with Tilly with her arm if she could throw Taylor out. Taylor's just got so much speed. She's got such a quick first couple of steps. You know, it's hard to get her.
Ball's kind of bouncing back a little more today.
Yeah, it seems like they've kind of fixed the fence and maybe tied it up a little bit so it's a little closer to the poles, so that then it does bounce back to the catcher, which is nice for the catchers.
Yes.
But, you know, we've got a runner on third who probably would have scored at a lot of other places. Casey gets under that one a little bit, popped up.
Oh,
the catcher never saw it.
No.
Looked up, never saw it. It still landed on the brick dust. So that's a play that normally you would have made, but the catcher never saw it. And I can't fault that catcher at all, because when she looked up, she's probably looking straight into that sun.
Yes.
So can't fault her one bit. That sun hasn't been out all day, and then, you know, in between the last inning and this inning, it did come out. So
I'm glad it did, though, because when it was 40 this morning, I wasn't too excited about it.
Yes,
Nice
there's a nice hit down the third base line. The third baseman dives and tries to stop it. So Casey Kalen drives in. Taylor Fouch from third. Casey ends up with a single that she hit into left field past the third baseman.
Center fielder
Cassie Keltner comes up. And she's had a nice day at the plate, along with a nice day in the outfield, other than that first play that her mom said first couple of steps should have been back. So she's had a pretty nice day with her at-bats at the plate.
Ooh. Get there.
That's a softly hit ball to second base for the third out of the inning.
But at least they're hitting. At least being aggressive.
Yes, they are definitely being aggressive. The score is 10-1 in the top of the fourth, and we will be back in just a second.
Hey, honey, is this your course schedule for the fall?
Yep.
Let me see here. English, good. Chemistry, trigonometry, excellent. World history, I love world history. Baseball.
Hang on, I'm in a commercial right now.
Baseball? Baseball isn't a course, honey.
Well, sure it is, Mom. High school sports are about so much more than winning and losing. They teach lessons that can't be taught in a classroom, like accountability and self-discipline, the value of teamwork. I may not be earning a grade, but I'm learning how to compete later in life. Isn't that what getting a good education is all about?
Yes, of course it is. I was just testing you.
What can teenagers here in Indiana learn from participating in high school sports? Plenty, as it turns out. That's why they're called education-based athletics.
High school sports. There's so much more than just a game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back from break. Looks like Casey Kalen is going to come to the mound again for the start of the fourth inning. She had pitched the first three, so she is going to come to the plate for the fourth. Going to open the window for one of our cameras because I'm starting to get a little hot up here. So one of our cameras, we were picking up a little bit of a glare. So first pitch popped up. Tilly makes an effort at it, but doesn't quite get to it. Once again, the Lady Senators are leading the Clarksville Generals 10-1 in the top of the fourth. Casey Kalen on the mound, has been on the mound all day, has pitched a really nice game. First inning had a little bit of a struggle, but then got it under control and has really thrown a nice game since then.
She has.
Do you have a track how many strikeouts she has?
I have 3 right now.
3 right now. But I don't think there's been a ball hit out of the infield since the first inning. So, I mean, she's really kind of got it under control.
Yep.
That pitch was just a touch inside. And the Lady Generals just really haven't gotten their bats going yet today.
Got a few at the start, but yeah. And then Casey came into it and had trouble with her.
There's a nice pitch.
There's your 4th strikeout.
There's the 4th strikeout of the day, and Tilly really framed that one there for the umpire to see. Not that he wasn't going to call it anyway, but he really she really held it there long for him to see it. That pitch is inside, right off the hands of the batter, where she couldn't have got her hands through on that one if she wanted to. So it's nice that, you know, she's putting them where she wants the girls to hit them. Swung through the second strike.
This is Rose Monfort, number 12, left fielder.
Another pitch inside. Casey really likes that inside part of the plate. That's where she kind of makes her living in there. She's really pounding that inside where she makes it hard to get your hands through.
Yep. Fouled off, full count. Is that right? 2 and 2.
I think it's 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
2 and 2 with 1 out. Once again, the Lady Senators are up 10-1. Monfort has choked up quite a bit on her bat trying to get those hands through the zone. Doesn't do it, so that's
nice.
another strikeout. So she's up to 5 now.
Up to bat now is Casey Grant.
Casey Grant up to bat now, number 7 for the Generals.
Catcher.
She's the one who made the nice sliding catch back here in the last half inning. So.
Inside, but fouled it off.
Once again, that's one of those things that the young girls have to learn. You've got to get your hands through on those inside pitches to be able to hit the ball.
Bring it on out to left field.
There's another pitch that she's fouling back. She's in there fighting, but just hasn't been able to get one in fair play yet.
This really is a nice crowd today. I mean, like I said, we're on spring break, but the weather's gorgeous. And
there's another strikeout. Casey struck out the side there, so she picked up 3 more strikeouts, which gives her 6 total for the day. She's pitched a really very nice game. We will be back from commercial in just a minute.
It's your ticket to affordable family fun. It's your ticket to high drama, spectacular action, and magical moments. It's your ticket to an experience you'll never forget. It's your ticket to the IHSAA Girls and Boys State Basketball Tournaments. Attending a girls or boys tournament game is a fun, affordable way to see Indiana's game played the way it was intended to be, for the pure love of it. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and the Indiana High School Athletic Association invite you to be part of the state's rich tradition of high school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport, pure state tournament excitement. The drama is set to tip off. Do you have your ticket?
And we're back from break. Looks like Coach Long is making some subs coming into the game. I know he's got Tori Bolton on the bench in there, and I know that Elizabeth Walls is on the bench in there, so it wouldn't surprise me a bit for either of those to get in the game now. Probably going to see some shifting in the outfield, possibly. So we'll see what changes he's making. Ruth Gilbert, who's next to us, is working on getting some changes in her book, and then once she gets those, then we can let you know who's going where. But we will let you know as soon as that happens. It looks like Cora Miller's our first batter up. So there's been a little bit of confusion on who's coming in where. So as they come up to bat, we'll definitely let you know. It looks like Coach Long is pulling his DP, which would be Nicole Pittman, and it looks like he's going to have his flex player, which is Brianna Hartman, hit. So that then gets rid of the DP. It'll be interesting to see the other changes that he then makes. Cora Miller fouls off the first pitch. There's a pop-up over just out of play into the stands. Cora's one of the few girls on the team who is not swinging the Xeno bat that most of them are swinging. So I find that kind of interesting. She's one of the few. I figured she would swing it along with the rest of them. Very nice play by the first baseman catching the ball in foul territory, who was the starting pitcher, but she goes into foul territory and catches it.
Now we have our right fielder, Brianna Hartman.
So Brianna Hartman, now who was our flex player, didn't hit for the first couple of innings, now does hit.
Yeah.
So now she comes in and does hit. Inside pitch. So it looks like Tori Bolton is out on the on-deck circle, so she's going to get into the game too. So there's a nice hit, nice pop-up by Brianna to the second baseman, who makes a very nice catch. So there's 2 down in the inning, and up comes Tori Bolton.
Standing in to bat now will be Tori Bolton.
Tori Bolton goes in for Taylor Green. So I would guess that Tori's going to come in and catch, which will then move Tilly to first or do some switching around in the field. But Tori definitely has a big bat. She can definitely hit. She can definitely drive in runs for power. So it'll be interesting to see, where she goes with this ball. Lays off of that pitch that's high and inside. It's a ball that she didn't like, wasn't able to drive somewhere, so she stays off of it.
Ooh. 3 balls now.
Not quite sure that Coach Long will give her the green light here 100%. Might say if it's one, in the zone, go for it, but definitely gonna. There's a 4-ball walk, so.
Uh-oh. Ball may have hit the catcher.
Looks like the catcher is down, so she may be hurt. May have caught the top of her thigh or the inside of her leg. I can't really see because of where the umpire's standing and her coach coming out. So the top of the thigh is an area that's not really protected very much. And if you get a ball that hits there, it definitely hurts because there's not a whole lot, there to protect, your leg. They do the best they can with the shin guards. But, when it catches the top of your thigh, there's not a whole lot you can do. So it looks like she's going to walk it off a little bit. She's definitely limping on that left leg. So
pointing to her knee, so.
So the coaches are definitely taking care of her and going to see what they can do to help, But she definitely took one. I don't know if it was off the knee or off the leg. She is pointing to her knee, so that's not good. When you take a ball straight off the knee, that always hurts. The West Washington Senators are up 10-1 in the bottom of the 4th. We've got 2 outs with a runner on first. We've got Tori Bolton, who's our runner, standing on first. So they're asking for some ice for the catcher. So looks like they're moving some people around now. It looks like one of their outfielders is going to come in and catch maybe. So I'm not quite sure who they're moving around. They're working on talking to some people. And
sub number 5, Nikki Hatfield's coming in.
yeah, so Hatfield comes in. Looks like she's going to left field. I think their left fielder
Rose Montford
moved into the infield. I'm not quite sure where she's going yet. And I'm not quite sure who they're going to suit up in all the catching gear to catch. So the Senators have E coming up, who is a slap hitter, who is not one who you would really want to come in and and try to catch your first experience catching, because she's one who's moving around up there all over the place, and because that's her job. Her job is to slap and move those feet and get moving towards first. So that's awkward. It's a moving batter up there, which you don't really see, and the Generals are going to have to contend with that with a catcher who's coming in who may or may not have caught very much.
I know in high school they understand it, but it seems like when younger kids don't understand how important catchers are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to catch. They think, oh, it's boring, blah, 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 but you're involved in every play. You see the entire field. It's just you need, your pitcher and catcher. You need that right there.
Well, and it's one of those spots on the field where every play happens in front of you.
Yep.
It's all in front of you. Nothing ever happens behind your back.
No.
So it's one of those, your kids who want to be involved on every play and want to see every play and want to be able to see it in front of them. The catcher is a great spot to be because it's all in front of you all the time.
Yep.
And you're involved in every single play. So Coach Long's coming up to tell us a sub, I believe. He's subbing 5 for 7, so 5 is coming in to catch for 7, who was their catcher. So 5 was the sub that they had on the bench, and they're bringing in she's replacing number 7, who was their catcher, who just got injured. So now she comes in, and they're getting her, of course, suited up in all the catching gear. Coach Long walked over with a set of shin guards. It looked like that might be a little smaller to help fit. Not that the Generals didn't have the right equipment, but it just might fit a little better. Looks like she's coming out in catching gear, and looks like she's got a catcher's glove and everything, so she may have caught some. Most teams, if you don't have your own catching glove, they don't have a catching glove for you, so she may have caught some.
They've kind of moved people around because this is Allie Weber was shortstop.
Well,
I think Nikki Hartfield went to left. So they did a little moving in the field.
Yeah. So 25, which was their shortstop, is now at catcher. E is up. Tori Bolton on first. The Lady Senators are up 10-1 in the bottom of the fourth. This catcher on that first pitch definitely looked like she had caught before. I mean, she popped right out of there and was ready to catch it. So.
And she's framing it and everything.
And everything. So I would say she's probably got some experience.
Got 2 outs now.
E has 2 balls on her with 2 outs. There's a throw behind at first. Ball rolls just a little bit past first base. Tori not interested in going to second at all. So she just stays planted on first, which is probably a good move.
I love all the fun the girls have together.
Yeah, they're definitely laughing and smiling and having a good time. I'm a little interested to see when a game gets tight if they're still as fun as they are now. This game has gotten a little bit out of control. Not to say that the Generals are out of it. There's that.
Nice slap.
That's a very nice slap play. Probably should have gone to second. Tori was not quite halfway, so that makes that play, probably go to second. But that brings up the top of our lineup with Taylor Fouch. 2 on, 2 out up 10-4 in the bottom of the fourth. Nice dig by the catcher there. Digs that one out of the dirt. Ooh. There's a nice pitch that Fouch probably would have got a hold of, but I'm not sure Coach Long didn't have the take on.
At least they're listening. It's hard to do sometimes. But
yeah. Taylor's protecting the whole plate, because as you see when she taps her bat on the plate, she's tapping on the outside corner of it, so she's covering the whole plate and some of the other box. So I mean, she's standing on top of it, wanting that pitch out over the plate to be able to extend and drive at. But this pitcher's doing a very nice job of keeping it inside. There's one that Tori's going to get to third on. Probably a pass ball on the catcher, one that should have been caught. E ends up on second. Taylor's now standing at the plate with a full count. Two strikes, 3 balls, 2 outs. 10-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Taylor looking in to drive in some runs. Ball high, so she takes first base. And up comes Rye, who now can get a hold of one.
Rye's another one of those three sport girls.
Yeah, she is, and she's a dominant 3-sport athlete. I mean, she is one who likes to just gets under it a little bit and pops it up for the third out of the inning. But Rye, we'll stay right here through the break. Rye is one of those that, you know, she really likes to get in the paint and bang with people, you know, in the post. And I'm sure Cassidy has come home and told you about practices where she's had to guard her eye and come home.
Oh,
and,
sure.
You know, it's just, you know, where she's feel like she's been through a fight and just get beat on, because that's how Rye plays. I mean, Rye plays basketball and she likes to bang. That's her game.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure Cassidy got kind of the bad side of that exchange, because Rye is a girl who's, you know, built. I mean, she's big. She spends some time in the weight room, and, you know, Cassidy, not to take anything away from Cassidy, but, you know, Cassidy's not the same, you know, build as Rye.
Yeah.
You know, and she's strong and you know, likes to bang on people.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she's also a volleyball player and you know, doesn't get to bang on people in volleyball, so, you know, but is definitely a big part of that Senator volleyball team. You know, along with, you know, a lot of these girls that are out here are volleyball players. So, you know, the volleyball program has, you know, had success. The softball program has had success. The basketball program has had success. You know, and it all stems from the girls putting in the time.
Yep.
And the parents buying in, because I'm sure you're driving girls over here, you know, through the summer and everything to get them, you know, to the summer workouts and things that they're supposed to do.
Oh, sure. I'm really looking forward to her being able to drive. I hate to say that, but it's true. Oh, first pitch. Hit the batter. So Kayla Isgrig will be at first.
Casey Kalen comes out with the first pitch and hits a batter, so she's now standing on first.
First baseman didn't even attempt to come off. Runner at first, I mean.
And that's something that Clarksville hired their coach a little late. We were told that he may have only been on staff for a month or so. So, you know, he may not have got to work through all of that. The batter just hits a slow roller to Taylor Fouch at short, and she flips to E at second to get the out. The runner that was batting makes it to first. So, you know, they replaced the batter that was on first with another one. but they're not getting any closer to home. So
That's true.
the Lady Generals are down 10-1 in the top of the fifth with 1 out. There's a pop-up. Tilly back at the fence. Doesn't get to it.
A little close there. Good try, though.
Once again, that sun out in right field is brutal for the catcher because they're looking dead into it as soon as they pop up. So that's one of those, you know, at a different diamond she may have got to that, but not here.
Nice pitch.
Another nice pitch.
A little inside, but
inside, she turns on it, drives it down the third base line. So she did get her hands through, which is good. She's one of the first Lady Generals that we've seen get their hands through and be able to pull that ball. Then pulls that one again and drives it out to left field to Cora Miller, who makes a nice throw into E at second, and the runner just barely gets there ahead of the throw.
Up to bat now is Caitlin Page.
So Caitlin Page now coming up to bat with runners on first and second. Lady Generals trying to get something going here in the top of the fifth, trying to score some runs. Casey has shut them out the past 4 innings. Pitch a little high.
this is nice to see. I mean, a lot of times you see coaches call times, but it's nice when the catcher just realizes to go talk to the pitcher and say, calm her down or whatever.
Well, Tilly's been in a lot of games, so she kind of knows what to say, what to do. And not that Casey hasn't, but, just nice to get out there, take a breath, throw strikes like you've been doing the whole game. There's a foul ball back over top of the press box. 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 out. Runners on first and second. The Lady Senators are up 10-1.
Nice throw.
Swung through that one, so that's now 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball gets out of Tilly's glove, but then she fields it and throws her out anyway. Tilly probably knows that since first base was occupied, that didn't have to happen, but she did it anyway because the runner was running. So, kind of got out of sorts a little bit. We now have runners on second and third with 2 outs.
Nice inside pitch.
It's one of those first game jitters, get the things going, and second, third game of the season, Tilly doesn't make that throw. Not that there's anything wrong with making it, but against a more experienced team, we might end up giving up a run or something in that situation. Three pitches, 3 strikes. Very nice from Casey Kalin. That gives her 9 on the day, I believe.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7.
7 on the day. Sorry, 7
right.
on the day. I was counting in my head, so probably correct. 7 on the day. We're going to step away for commercial break.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. There's just one place where a team is more than a group of individual agendas. It's a catalyst for demonstrating the potential of the collaborative spirit. There's just one place where players, coaches, and fans experience the exhilaration that happens when an entire community rallies behind the school team. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. In addition, high school sports help young people in Indiana develop the discipline and confidence they need to be leaders in life, even as they unite communities like nothing else. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We're back, and the Lady Generals are in the field warming up. Looks like Tilly Gilbert is our first batter. The Senators have put together a really nice 5 innings, up 10-1 going into the bottom of the 5th. Kind of like to see them, close out a strong game and really finish up, what they've started. That'd be a good way to finish off this first game of the season and really show, hey, we're here to play. We know what we're doing. We know how to win. We know how to close out. We know how to start. We know how to play the middle. We know how to finish.
Absolutely. It's a great confidence booster, just getting that first one on your belt and realizing, things that coaches taught you are working out, and it's looking good.
Yeah. Tilly has actually switched around. She's going to hit left-handed this time. So she is a true switch hitter. She's got power from both sides. So, she definitely can do this. It's the first couple she was on the right-hand side. Now she's switched over to the left-hand side. So, be interesting to see how she matches up against this pitcher.
Just gets the corner of that outside.
Yeah. She now turns around to the right-hand side of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch is too high. Tilly lays off of that one. Once again, touches her helmet, lets Coach Long know, hey, I got the sign. I know what you want. There's a shot. Hit.
Just foul.
Into left field. Really got a hold of it. Just missed it just a touch from being able to drive it out of here. Tilly couldn't quite wait just long enough to let that get to the sweet spot and then drive it. So we'll see what she does here with the next pitch. Ooh. Too far inside. So she's got a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody down in the bottom of the 5th.
The pitcher came in off first base. She's not doing too bad.
Yeah, she's definitely throwing strikes, which is what you want from pitchers. She doesn't have overpowering stuff, but she is getting stuff across the plate, which is dangerous against these Senators. You throw it across the plate, they're going to drive it.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Coming up is Casey Kalin, the pitcher. She's got a runner on first, so she definitely can drive in. And Casey hasn't had a great day at the plate today. But that can change with one swing of the bat from her. I mean, she can really get a hold of them and rip them. So we'll see if she can get one. That's
she told she was upset about that.
Yeah, that was a little bit outside for what Casey wanted. So she laid off of it, which I can't blame her. Being that it was the first pitch.
Yep.
Bunt.
Nice bunt.
Laid down to third. Thrown out at first.
Good.
Tilly
going on to third.
Tilly scoring from first because the third baseman is the one who fielded the ball, threw to first, but then had to get back to third to cover the base. And when she did, Tilly was already there and then wasn't able to handle the ball.
Yep.
So then she scores.
Good base run.
Which then makes the game called 11-1. We will be back in just a minute. We may be able to get Coach Long up here to get his thoughts on the game. So we will step away for a commercial break.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Indiana high school's budget, and
We hear it more and more when people talk about sports. We need to change the culture. No more integrity taking a backseat to performance. No more players, coaches, and fans run amok. No more too big to fail. It sounds good. It sounds reasonable. Come to think of it, it sounds like high school sports. At the Indiana High School Athletic Association, we know that sports are just part of a student athlete's overall education and that there's more to the game than winning. We also know that high school sports are incredibly exciting. They're rich with tradition and bring communities together like nothing else. In a word, they're pure. More and more, that's what people want. High school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport. This message brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, the IHSAA, and the high schools in this community.
And we're back live with, the West Washington Senator post-game show. Really, overall, a great game put up by the Lady Senators. They played a complete game, and they learned today that they can compete. They are going to be able to compete with, all of the people in their conference, their sectional. They may be the team to beat. You never know. I know it's early in the season.
Sure.
I know it's the first game. I know this is a young Clarksville team, but that team looks like a team that can really have some fun and really make some noise in a conference that's a wide open conference.
Yeah, I think the coach out there just picked the same player that we did for player of the game.
Well, that's interesting. That's a great segue into what we're going to call next is our first player of the game, which we're going to pick Casey Kalin for our player of the game.
Mm-hmm.
She was our starting pitcher. You said she had 7 strikeouts, which is a really good amount for a 5-inning game. She at the plate, she drove in our winning run on a bunt single down the third base line for the day. Can you tell me her other?
She only had, other than the first inning where she had a run, the first batter made it home. Other than that, only one person made it to third. Everybody else was strikeouts, or the defense helped her. So she had a great game today, at the beginning of the season. So.
Yeah, and I believe she scored 2 runs and had another single or so.
Yes.
So overall, that's a great day. A great turnout for the first game of the year, and looking for great things for her for the rest of the year. It's not going to be Coach Long said she's going to be the workhorse as the pitcher, but she's going to see time at other places too. So
Sure.
it's not just a one horse show here. We're going to have different pitchers out there throwing balls. So today it's Casey, but as you can see from our lineup, there are lots of girls who can hit the ball and lots of girls who play strong in other positions. Rye had some good plays at third. Taylor had a good stop at short.
Yep.
Other than the first ball that was hit over Cassidy's head, she had some good plays in center. So we're going to be a strong team.
Absolutely. We got players that are good at multiple positions, so we always move around and find what we need.
Well, I'd like to congratulate Casey Kalin for her first player of the game. I'd also like to thank Stephanie Keltner for stepping in and doing some technically not radio, I guess it's live stream call with me. We will be doing other games throughout the year, so if you're interested, you can tune in and we will get the links out to you so you can see them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been fun.